welcome, hola, what's good? Hey, y'all, hey, you are tuned in to Circle Up with Amanda Hurd. Season 3, Episode 2. Join me today as me and one of my very own cousins get to take the mic and discuss something that I am extremely proud of. It's not always that you get to engage with your family members on things like this, so this is super sweet to me, super important. Today we're going to be talking about one of her accomplishments. She is the founder of We Empower Her. This is a very, very beautiful group that she has created. It pretty much deals with just the beauty and the health of women. And it's a place where we can be comforted. It's a place where we can be encouraged and empowered. I love this place because not only is it a place where we can, put our shoulders back, lift our heads a little higher and feel everything out for what it is, but we get to grow. And anytime there's a space where you can grow, it's a very beautiful moment. So let's talk to her a little bit further about how it came about, what the plans are for it, and how we can help her go about it. Grab your snacks, drinks, and chairs, and let's get ready to circle up. What's up, y'all? Hey, y'all. Hey, here we are again with a new episode, season 3, episode 2. This is just a conversation between me and my cousin. I'm super excited to be able to bring her on. She's doing a phenomenal thing. She's doing a powerful movement for women out here. And so I'm excited that I get to join this conversation with her. I'm excited that I get to introduce her to the listeners and just for you guys to be able to connect and find a way how we can help her push her vision. She is one who wears multiple hats. So before I say too much, I'm going to dive in and go ahead and give her a chance to introduce herself. Hey, Antoinette, go ahead and tell the people about you.
Hi, I am Antoinette. I am the owner and CEO of We Empower Her LLC, which is a women's empowerment company. We empower women through all ways, through all aspects. And right now we are hosting a webinar series of 7 to 8 webinars each month. One of them, the next one, will be actually coming out tonight, September 25th at 3 p.m. Central. So I'll give you the information through a link through Amanda so that you can link into it.
Awesome.
So I just wanted to tell you a little bit about myself. I am a mother of 4 children. I am married. And I just think that empowering women is so important, especially in this day and age, because a lot of times us women don't feel like we're empowered. We don't feel like we have the power to do a lot of things. And I see that I do see that it is kind of coming around and we are doing more things than we have done in the past. But it's still a little bit hard for us to break out and be the powerful women that we are. I feel like with this movement, with women's empowerment, we can take on the world. So I want to help you take on the world as well.
That's beautiful. I love that. I love all types of movements, but especially movements for women, because I feel like you said, women are just so strong. We are extremely strong. And a lot of times we get looked at as weak. And
Right.
So it with all the different emotions and stuff that we process, a lot of times it makes us believe that we're weak. And whenever we find ourselves in these groups where we're encouraging one another, we're pushing one another, we have somebody to help us lift our head when it's down, it just empowers us to the max. And so any movement that's like that, it always draws at my heart. So I am super excited for what you're doing and how you're doing it. So I had a couple of questions that I wanted to bring to the table just to kind of open the eyes of some around us and just to invite others in. So We Empower Her. Where did you come up with that name? It's such a strong name.
It is. So I was kind of playing around with, I knew I wanted to do women's empowerment, and I also knew that I just wanted to be empowering all together. So I kind of played around with, how at the end of empower, We have ER. So
Mm-hmm.
I was like, maybe I should do we empower her. And then I was like, that doesn't really stand out as
Right.
much to me. So then I just kept playing around with different types of word combinations. And then when I thought of we empower her, I was like, that's it. That is the one. I
Right.
want people to look at it and say, okay, this is definitely for women. This is to empower women. And I feel like that name really does help me get my point across.
Yeah, I feel like it's so broad, it's so strong. I feel like when I say it alone, I feel empowered. It makes me want to
Yes.
just like, ooh, do something. So that was a good choice. And I know name picking can be hard, but I like the way you brought about that. You played with it, and it's like the further you got into it, it just really stood out. It explains it without you actually having to explain it, which is good sometimes because I know for me, whenever I'm looking for a new program or looking for anything really, I judge a book by its cover. I mean,
Right.
i'm one of those I'm one of those, like, judge a book by its cover. The book might be real good, but if the cover is horrible, then I missed out. And I mean, it
Exactly.
sucks a lot in life, but I mean, I get wins a lot too. So when I come across something like we empower her, I just can hear the boldness, I feel the boldness, I feel empowered. It makes me want to move. So I love that. I love that. So, digging a little deeper about We Empower Her, have you experienced a moment in your life where you felt like you needed empowering? And did you have someone to empower you?
That's a great question. So I have had very many moments like that. And typically I would reach out to my mom. My mom is so encouraging. Everything that I do, she's always encouraged me and gave me the strength to
Oh, I wish you could see
either
my face.
either keep going or to say no, that's not the right move, and she gives me the guidance. So I really do learn my empowerment from my mother. She's been a manager for many years, and I think her managing experience has helped her to understand how to manage people and empower people, as well as she's a mother of two girls, so you kind of have to
Hmm.
know how to tell your girls, you probably shouldn't be doing that, or yes, you should go for it. She's always given good advice. And also, my grandma, she is empowering. She has a different way of doing it, and that's okay. We're all different, but she does still give the good, empowering advice. So, one situation with my mom is I was having a really hard day at work. My boss I'm a trainer. So my
Uh-huh.
boss told me that like everything that I did, she kept saying that it wasn't right. And so I was just really frustrated. And I was telling my mom that I wanted to quit. And my
Uh-huh.
mom just told me, this is something that you're meant to do. You are a trainer and it's in your blood. Like even if you go to another job and do something where you're not training, you're still going to be training people.
Right.
So just take her advice, tell her thank you, and let her know how you feel about it, and let her know about the things that you are doing
Hmm.
right within the things that she said that you're doing wrong. And that really empowered me because I have had a problem with, speaking up for myself, and especially in a job role, just speaking
Hmm.
up for myself and saying, okay, you're not right.
Right.
And she gave me the tools to tell her she wasn't right, but not in a mean, negative way. And
Right.
so that's what I mean when I say that she's always been able to guide me and encourage me and empower me to do things that I normally wouldn't do. And that has helped me tremendously in every aspect of my life. Just making sure that I kind of think about what would my mom say in this situation,
Right.
and then I think about that and kind of cultivate it into my own understanding in my own way, and it really works. So my mom has really given me those tools to empower myself.
I really,
Does that
really
answer
like
your
that.
question?
That does answer part one. I did ask a twofold question, but I'll get back to the second part because I wanted to tag
Okay.
team. I really, really like that because a lot of times I think women, we believe that in order to empower somebody, we have to have like this deep knowledge about all these different things, or we
Right.
have to know so much. We have to go to school or have all these smarts or all this wisdom that comes from only God knows where, and we have to
Mhm.
go through all these different trials and hard times in order to be able to give somebody something, and that's not true. I mean, the good thing about this is I get to testify on your mom's behalf, considering she's my auntie. But I think it's so cool because every time I talk to her, and you guys get to hear from her shortly, but every time I talk to her, she's always like, I didn't have a rough life. I didn't have a bad time. My whole life was good. My whole life was this. And she always has these like these cute little sayings that she's always throwing out there. She's like, it ain't never been rough for me. And I just think I think that that's so cool to be able to share that part because once again, it testifies to you don't have to go through the hardest things in the world to empower somebody. You can
Mhm.
simply tell them to lift their head up. You can simply tell them to smile. They're beautiful. Keep moving forward. You're doing a good job. And those are all empowering words. Those are all things that will help shift somebody's whole atmosphere and push
Yes,
them
they are.
forward, like, and where they're going. So I love that
It'll
example.
definitely make someone feel like they're important. And that's another thing about
Right.
empowerment. When you're empowered, you feel like you're important and then you feel like you can take on things.
Mm-hmm.
So saying things like that to people does help them get out of their shell, make them feel special, make them feel important and empowered. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I love that. So, part two of the question I was asking, so have you been in places or situations where you had to empower somebody? And if so, can you just share a little bit with us about that?
Yes, I have. Again, as a trainer, I work with a variety of people, and sometimes people want some advice on how to move forward in their career, and I am able to empower them by advising them, hey, you have these skills,
Mm-hmm.
um and these skills are transferable, and so anything that you do it, whether it's customer service, whether it's retail, you have a skill within there that can apply to any job that you're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
So I do tell people, and one person in particular came to me and told me that they were really frustrated and they were looking for something else. So I sat down with her and I basically told her, you can do anything that you put your mind to, but let's take a look at what you have in your arsenal, and let's put
Right.
together a plan to help you move forward to get to the position that you want to be in. And she took my advice. She was very empowered. She was one of those people that don't like to really speak out and tell me
Mm-hmm.
what she needs. So from me mentoring her, and it wasn't just a one day thing. Um, she came back to me. We tweaked a few things. We did mock interviews. Um, I helped her with her resume, and I also just kept encouraging her and let her know that she can do it. And
Awesome.
she said that when she went to an interview, she felt so powerful. Because let me tell you one thing. I did tell her that if you make yourself big, like put your arms out or put your legs out, and make yourself big, you don't feel small anymore. And so like before an interview, you should always like make yourself big, because then you'll exude that big confidence or
Ooh,
boss
I love that.
confidence. So
You should see me over here stretching.
yes, and you can feel it, like you feel bigger when you do stretch, and you feel
Right.
like you're powerful and you're a boss. So I was able to encourage her by that, and she told me that it was really helpful for her.
I like that so much. I like that so much. Again, because I feel like I love how you addressed without addressing that it's a process. Because a
Mhm.
lot of times I also believe that people, we can't always see what's inside of us. I have this
Mhm.
prayer that I say all the time. I'm like, God, show me what you see in me, show me what other people see in me. And I say that because a lot of times it's hard for us to see all that we are, and somebody else can simply look at you and be like, oh my gosh, you're so good at this, or oh my gosh, I love how you do that, or you do this. And just that moment when somebody empowers you to move forward in that thing that you don't see, at the time frame, it's easy to move in it, but without the process, like without a continuation of somebody, like empowering you or encouraging you, pushing you towards that thing, it's hard to fully live in that. So I love how you pulled out that it's a process. It wasn't a one-day thing. And this is what I think I love a lot about the movement that you're doing, because movement to me, I hear process. I hear, that it's a building up of. And so
it is a process. Yes. I agree.
I love that point. But that's beautiful. I'm glad that and another thing that it pulls out that makes me happy is a lot of times we don't shed light on areas like the workforce. And I love how you're able to empower people right where they are. And so that's a beautiful thing. If anybody out there is listening and you need empowerment, whether it's at home with your family, your husband, your children, or if it's at work, on the work field, this is a place that you'd want to kind of come into, kind of get along, find some way to sow your seed in the ground what she's doing and what this movement is doing, because you will be able to be lifted up and empowered no matter where you are. I'm sure they have things set up, like she said, there's webinars and stuff that they're setting up that can help you in the different areas of your life. So explain to us a little bit about the webinars. How do they work? What goes on in a webinar, and how can we get connected to a webinar?
Yes. So how they work is I have one once a month, and they're at the end of the month on the last Saturday of the month. And I post the information through Eventbrite. So you go into Eventbrite. Oh, one thing I forgot to mention, they're free. Absolutely free.
Listen, that is a good one.
Yes, the reason they're free is because I believe that everyone deserves a chance to feel empowered to get information. And sometimes you can't afford to pay for it. You may need that moment, and if you can't afford to pay for it, you may forego it because you don't have those funds.
Right.
So the webinars are about empowering women through various ways. So my last one was empowering women out of domestic violence, which was my first one. And the reason why it was the first one is because I know that there are so many women out there that don't even know what domestic violence is. So they may be in a domestic violence situation and they don't realize it. Or they may be in a domestic violence situation and they do realize it, but they don't know the resources to turn to, or they don't even know how to tell people about it. And then also another aspect of that was that they just don't understand. Other people don't understand how to support you when you're in a domestic violence situation. So in that one, we went over all of those things, how to identify, how to get out, and also how to help others. So
all the webinars they'll be different every month.
Yes. So that was the first one. So the webinar series is called Empowering Women Within, the Power Within. And so it's basically about empowering women to see what's inside of them, to empower themselves. And so I just have a wealth of hosts that are specialists in their field that will talk with you they'll do a presentation regarding the subject, and they will help give you tools and guides. We do activities. I put you in breakout rooms to connect with others while participating in an activity. And that's just to help. Yeah, that's just to help reinforce the ideals and to make sure that you're getting the most out of it.
That's awesome. And is there like a time for like questions and answers and all of that good stuff?
Yes, there is. So really anyone can ask a question during the presentation, Or if they like, they can wait until the end of the presentation and ask questions. I typically will be recording them. However, the domestic violence one I did not record because it was such a sensitive subject matter,
Mm-hmm.
and there were people in there that did have domestic violence situations, so I didn't want to um, expose their situations. So that was very sensitive. So if it is something that's a sensitive matter, I will not record it. But if it's not as sensitive, like maybe a funner one or something that's overall in general, then I will
Mm-hmm.
record it so that people can have access to it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I love the move. And so, where can we find these webinars?
They are either via Eventbrite. So what I do is I create an Eventbrite event, and then I have tickets for the events, and then I post it on Facebook through my Facebook page, which is at We Empower Her 21. So if you like my page, you'll get the information regarding the empowerment webinars. And so then you would be able to click on it, accept the event, and then go and get your ticket again, which is
Awesome.
free.
That is awesome. This always excites me. Like I said, I can't stress it enough how much I get super excited over people doing just webinars and doing movements that are really helping us grow as individuals and especially as women. I feel as if men need those groups too and need those things too. And so it's powerful whenever we can come together and do things. And it's even more powerful, I believe, when we can find ourselves separated in our own groups where we're able to be more vulnerable and more open with one another. And then come back together. So I love that this is a women's group. I love that it is moving, it's growing, it's stretching, it's here to empower. If there is anything that you can say to empower of the listeners today before we close this episode out, what would it be?
I just want to say that you are important. And I know that sounds really cliche, but it is good to know that you are important, because if you don't understand that, if no one ever tells you that, then you don't believe it. But I truly believe that women are important to make change in this country, to make change in the world. So knowing that you are important will help motivate you. But you
Yes.
have to internalize it. You can't just hear I'm important and be like, oh, okay. You have to really internalize it and know that you are important. I will
Yes.
also say that empowerment doesn't have to come from anyone else. It can come from within yourself. And I believe that everyone has empowered someone in some way, in some matter. You just may not realize it. So like Amanda said, if you are telling people, if you tell someone they're beautiful at one point, you don't know how their day has gone. You don't know what someone has told them in the past. You don't even know what someone told them 5 minutes ago. But you're telling them they're beautiful, or you're telling them that they are smart or something like that. That's empowering someone. And also, you can empower others by just reaching out to them, asking people that you know you may not have spoken to in a while, or even people that you have spoken to. Just ask them what's going on in their life, how they're doing, and just talk to them and give them some encouraging words. And you are an empowerment person as well, because you encouraging someone is a form of empowerment.
Yes.
So I want to encourage everyone to just reach out to somebody and give them some encouraging words. Tell them something that can help them move forward in their life, and you can to empower someone.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You guys, listen, be empowered. Choose to be empowered today. Thank you, Antoinette, again for coming in and just sharing your time with us here at Circle Up. I absolutely love that you did that. I encourage you to grow forth and be empowered. I encourage you to keep doing what you're doing. It's beautiful. It's great. I'm going to continue to pray over the movement because I know that it's empowering people. I know
Thank
that the listeners that are hearing this episode feel empowered as we speak. So for everyone that's out there that has felt empowered, that has felt the movement, be sure to go follow her on her Facebook, any social media site that you can connect to with the empowerment. And hey, sign up for one of those webinars. If it's one that doesn't really speak to you, I'm sure you're connected to somebody that it will speak to. So even by sharing the webinar is a move of empowerment. So until next time, take this word, let it grow you, stretch you, and reach you right where you are. Be blessed. Bye.
Bye.